Hello, this is Olivier. Well, I think this is going to be a special video. Things have changed in the last few weeks, quietened down quite a lot for me on my products. All of a sudden, a lot less interest. I think that usually happens in September, August, because obviously my robot has many features to it, and the more complex features for more complex markets. It does. The best time for my robot is obviously spring and summer. That's when usually in spring, you can get some terrific performances like 30–40%. Summer also is not bad, but we're getting into September where it gets a little bit more complicated to use because you're using some of the different modules. Now, I'm going to make this video a little bit different because I'm going to try and explain a few things. First of all, this is my, and I will repeat it till I die, my holy grail. And this chart tells me absolutely everything I want to know in one glance. Some person even went to say that the indicators were false. Well, that's very nice of you, but a lot of these indicators are actually free on the internet, and I do send them to you or tell you where to get them. This chart is built in most of my EAs. BBSO, it's built in. I'm adding it to I don't know if it's going to be in EA form or as a module form in my new super fast MT5 product, which I highly recommend because I think it's the best thing I've ever done. But my very versatile workhorse of BBSO MT4 is has this module included, so you don't need to see it, but some people like to see it. So I do give the whole package exactly as it is now. You have to put it together. It's not going to look as pretty as that straight away, but this indicator I have, this indicator I have, this indicator I have, and this indicator I have, and the chart here obviously is built. I do not give the harmonic program. I have a harmonic program, which I can send you, but this is a commercially available harmonic program, which I like, and I like the author, so I'm not, I will talk about it and show it because it works for me. So, okay, so here we have the Renko chart, and I will again stress how easy it is in a glance to have a look at what the market does. And what my EA does, I won't go through it again. There's many, for instance, here is another great trade it's done. It usually waits, I use the classical Renko method, which is basically 3 boxes down here. We will come into a trade, and we will stay into that trade until we get 1 or 2 boxes up. It depends how you want to set it. I set it to about 2 boxes. So basically, that entire trade was a fantastic downtrend. Whatever anybody says, you can come and criticize me and the same 15 guys. You know, why have people spent so much time trying to destroy what is really a robot? There are plenty of others. There's 10,005. Why have they spent so much time trying to degrade me, upset me, etc.? If somebody could answer that to me, I would like to, because either I mean, it's an EA, okay? It's 30 years of work, first of all, so it's very insulting to me. I do everything correctly. I talk about it. I explain things. I talk to clients. Some of these trolls have had 200 and 250 PM sent to them. I don't think anybody else would do that on MT4. I speak correct English because I'm totally English educated. I can express myself. I don't talk through a machine. I answer straight away. I don't quite understand why everybody has been against me. The only thing I can think of is that this EA actually works over time if you use it properly and you talk to me. And that has annoyed a lot of people. And obviously, there is some kind of, let's say it, gang thing going on the MT4 where they want the room to sell whatever they're selling, their products. I think that's the only reason. So I'm staying very calm about it. I got very upset, especially when you have a 30-year career and people just say shit, crap, words like that on to dismiss 7 years of university entrance exams to get into Credit Suisse. And when I look back at how hard it was for me to even stay there for 9 years, where my boss every day was telling me you have to be the boss, the best, or you go. That I had a divorce because of it, because I was very stressed and got burned out. And I started my own firm and was extremely successful for about 10 years. I made a hell of a lot of money. I lost some money in '08. That's when I had to sit down and come up with a better system, and everybody's benefiting from it now because I'm sharing it. And my prosperity is going to be in these YouTube videos. It's like the new, it's like I was thinking about that. Facebook and YouTube are things you're going to leave behind, and maybe somebody will look at this video in, 1,000 years and say, hey, because these methods aren't going to change. I hate to tell you that, guys, because everything that's on MT4 was invented in the 30s and 40s. There's been really nothing new invented, except maybe some of the things I've done, like range trading and all that, was not the biggest thing. But you've also got square waves that was invented by some people, making very cutting. If you look into it, Fisher transform. Those were papers done. Those were the most recent. This is the most recent work. A lot of work on artificial intelligence and neural systems. But there's not one neural system that you talk to your Siri on Monday mornings and say, make me $1,000, and Friday you have it. That's not done yet, but it will one day, and we're all getting there, and we're all pioneers, we all worked at it. So I'm showing you this chart to start with. But I want to go through my entire, sort of history here, if you'll bear with me. My robot, okay, let me try and find an example here. Apart from this module, okay, which is built in, I hate to, I give this module out, so there's no use saying it's fake charts and all that. I give it to free. It's a little bit more involved on MT4 because you need an M1 chart to do an M2 offline chart, and this chart is live, and it's a bit more delicate, but I like to see it. But it's built in my robots. All you have to do is switch on true, and I've shown that in my last videos, okay? So that's already one thing that is very useful right now, because as you can see, that in September, okay, we do have ranging markets, but they don't work as well, and BBSO has not been ranging totally properly in August and September, but there has been a lot of money made on trend, and not too many people have asked me questions on it, but it's an amazing way to make money. And this program here, which I give also free, is another way of doing it, because it actually is an EA that I give you that will come in at these points and come out at these points, okay, which makes it very easy, because this is the Renko is based on is not based on time. So these 3 points can be made in 3 seconds. If a missile goes off or something, straight away you will get this. Or it can take, like last few days, it can take about 2 days to make two boxes, which is kind of boring. That's why a lot of people walk away from it. Okay, so that's one thing. Okay, now let's look at BBSO Genuity Scalper in its bare state. Okay, nothing fancy, no fancy charts to show off, etc. This is in its bare state, and okay, I'm into very simplistic things. Minimalizing is my word, I think. Like Apple, like Steve Jobs, like all these people before. I give very simple interfaces. It doesn't mean they're not complicated. It doesn't mean because you don't have 120 uh, things to fill in here, that this is not complicated, because each module is probably more complicated than most of the robots out there. I've just divided it into 4 parts. The main module, okay, which has a true false, which is basically the jewel, which is what makes money over time. I've gone through this many, many times. It's a ranging module. It catches waves, okay? The allegory is the surfer on the surfboard talking to his buddies, waiting for the big wave that everybody's going to ride, and in the meantime all these little waves come. So it creates, if you use it like I say, and there's no secret, for instance, I'm using it mainly on euro right now. I'm not diversifying into many pairs. That is a fallacy. I'm using it on 5 minutes up to monthly time frames. Okay, and all I have to do is put true here, put my lots in, put my number of orders to 1. I can do a basket if I want. This is the main module, which I think should always be on. This is a trend module. Okay, these 4 lines are showing you that chart I just showed you. Okay, now there is nothing more complicated than putting those charts on one page and building it in, but we've done that. This is a breakout module, which is also based on some robots you're buying, same system as some robots you're buying for $2,000. Hate to tell you, this is a breakout. It will look for breakouts, okay? And obviously, now if you think about it, when the market is ranging, when the market is trending, the market is looking for breakouts, and these are not things you want to put all together. I mean, it just seems logical to you. If you put all 4 modules together on some pair like the Indian rupee to the New Zealand dollar, obviously you're going to blow up your account. If you have a $300 account, this EA might work if you put the main module on, like probably the best pair that I have, 1 minute euro, 1 hour euro with $20, you might come out okay. But it's not an EA for $300 in a dream. This EA works best with somebody with a large amount of money. And in fact, the best reviews I get are from people that have large accounts. But you can also use it with a normal account. Now, let me go again and stress the way that I trade and the way that every fund, hedge fund, bank, etc., works in the world. It is completely opposite. It is not cheating like they say. This is all they could get on me, right? That's why they begged me for a signal, and I resisted because I know what's going to happen. And then they wait, and they wait for a kink in my equity curve, etc. And then they know exactly what my method is. My method is the same as the bank. Now, do you want to work like a bank, or do you want to work like an individual? An individual will go in and say, I have $5,000. I'm going to put it in Robot X, and I'm going to have a look at his signal. And Robot X, over 5 years, has done this without me adding a single cent. That's a fantastic robot. First of all, how do you know that signal is a good signal? How do you know he's not fiddling around with it? How do you know he's really using the robot? Maybe he's using mine in there. Who knows? Some people do. You don't know with these signals. How can you buy a robot just based on signal? I just don't understand. You've got to try it yourself. You've got to try it real and decide whether it works. And that's a leap of faith, and you need a bit of capital. Okay. Now the way I do it is like banks. Now you know that every bank in the world, every equity fund gets fresh funds every month. People subscribe. Okay. See, people come out, people subscribe. Now when more people come out than people come in, then the fund is in trouble. If the fund has made some bad trades and gets a 98% drawdown, the fund is in trouble. But let's get realistic. At 30%, people are saying, I am saving my signal all the time. What? 30% drawdown is not saving your signal. I'm sorry, it's just adding cash because you believe in your system. So what I do, let's say, I'll give you a very simple example. Let's say I have $20,000. Okay, I start a signal, and you will see all my signals are the same. I'll start it with $2,000 or $3,000. Okay, I get a little bit of drawdown. Everybody inevitably one day gets a drawdown, and it's not saving. If you have a look at every time I put money in my signals, I'm not